Roberto Duran was born on June 16, 1951, in Guarer, Panama. His mother, Clara Samaniego, was from Guarer, while his father, Margarito Duran, was an American of Mexican descent stationed in Panama with the U.S. Army when Roberto was born. He grew up in the impoverished El Chorrillo neighborhood of Panama City, specifically in La Casa de Piedra. Duran began training at a young age, sparring with seasoned boxers at the Nico de la Guardia gym at just 8 years old. Duran's amateur career saw him compile a record of 29 wins and 3 losses. His first 3 losses came in his initial amateur bouts. In February 1968, at age 16, Duran turned professional. He won his first 31 fights, including knockouts over future featherweight champion Ernesto Marcel and former super featherweight champion Hiroshi Kobayashi. In June 1972, Duran claimed the WBA lightweight championship by defeating Ken Buchanan at Madison Square Garden. Despite being a 2-1 underdog, Duran knocked Buchanan down just 15 seconds into the first round and dominated the fight. The referee stopped the bout in the 13th round after Buchanan was hit with what appeared to be an accidental low blow, making Duran the winner by technical knockout. After this title win, Duran experienced both victories and setbacks. He lost a 10-round decision to Esteban De Jesús later that year, but then successfully defended his title against fighters like Jimmy Robertson, Hector Thompson, and Guts Ishimatsu. In 1974, Duran avenged his loss to De Jesús with an 11th round knockout. He went on to successfully defend his title 12 times, 11 of them by knockout, and built a record of 62-1. Duran's final title defense came in 1978, when he defeated De Jesús again, capturing the WBC lightweight championship. Duran later visited De Jesús in 1989 when the latter was dying from AIDS, a moment captured in a photo of their emotional embrace that helped reduce stigma surrounding AIDS patients. In February 1979, Duran vacated the undisputed lightweight championship to pursue a shot at the welterweight title. He earned victories over fighters like former WBC welterweight champion Carlos Palomino, leading to a fight with undefeated WBC welterweight champion Sugar Ray Leonard. The fight took place in Montreal's Olympic Stadium, where Duran was much more popular with the crowd than Leonard. On June 20, 1980, Duran defeated Leonard by unanimous decision, claiming the WBC welterweight title in a bout that became known as the Brawl in Montreal. The rematch, held later that year in November, was a turning point. Leonard altered his strategy, using more movement and footwork, while Duran struggled to corner him. During the 8th round, Duran suddenly stopped fighting, allegedly saying "no más," meaning no more. Some claimed he said, "no quiero pelear con el payaso," while Duran later clarified he said, "no sigo, I won't go on." The premature end to the fight led to Duran briefly retiring from boxing, but he eventually returned to the ring, unwilling to end his career on such a note. After taking some time to recover from his second loss to Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran attempted to regain his form, moving up in weight to challenge for the WBC light middleweight title. However, his first attempt at a championship in that division, on January 30, 1982, resulted in a 15-round unanimous decision defeat to Wilfred Benitez. Prior to this, Duran had recorded victories over Nino Gonzalez and Luigi Mancillo, both rated light middleweights, securing 10-round decisions in non-title fights. Duran faced further setbacks in his career when, in September 1982, he lost to Kirkland Lang from London in a surprise upset. Lang, a fighter known for his unpredictable performances, managed to secure a split decision victory in a bout that shocked the boxing world. Duran rebounded from these losses with a win over Englishman Jimmy Batten in a 10-round walkout victory at the Battle of the Champions in Miami. Shortly afterward, Duran signed with renowned promoter Bob Arum, signaling the start of a comeback. His resurgence included a dramatic win over former world champion and future Hall of Famer Jose Cuevas. Duran knocked out Cuevas in the 4th round, earning him another shot at the light middleweight title, this time against WBA champion Davey Moore. The title bout took place at Madison Square Garden on June 16, 1983, which was also Duran's 32nd birthday. Moore, still inexperienced with only 12 wins and no losses, gave a valiant effort early on. Duran, however, quickly realized that Moore couldn't hurt him, and by the 4th round, he began a relentless attack. The crowd cheered as Duran pummeled Moore, and by the 6th round, Moore's eye had swollen shut. Duran continued to apply pressure, and by the 7th round, Moore was knocked down. The fight was stopped in the 8th round as Moore was taking a severe beating, and Duran won his 3rd world title. After the victory, Duran was hoisted in the air, overcome with emotion, as the crowd sang happy birthday to him. Duran's next challenge came on November 10, 1983, when he faced Marvelous Marvin Hagler for the World Middleweight Championship in Las Vegas. The fight was competitive, but Duran suffered a broken hand during the bout. Despite the injury, he pushed through, and after 13 rounds, 2 judges had Duran ahead by 1 point, while the third had the fight even. Hagler, however, won the final 2 rounds decisively and secured a unanimous decision victory. The judges' scores were 144 to 142, 144 to 143, and 146 to 145. Duran became the second fighter to take Hagler to a 15-round decision, after Vito Antuofermo, and the only one to do so while Hagler held the world title. In June 1984, Duran was stripped of his light middleweight title after the WBA disapproved of his fight against WBC champion Thomas Hitman Hearns. When Duran entered the ring for this bout, the WBA immediately removed recognition of him as champion. During the fight, Hearns dominated. He dropped Duran twice in the first round, and when Duran got up after the second knockdown, he was disoriented and didn't know where his corner was. Hearns knocked Duran down a third time in the second round, and the fight was stopped, marking the first time Duran had ever been knocked out. This loss led to Duran's second retirement, though he would return to the ring over a year later in 1986. Duran didn't contend for another title fight until 1989, but when he did, he made it count. In February of that year, at the age of 37, Duran won the WBC middleweight title from Iran Barkley in a fight that is considered one of his greatest achievements. Duran knocked Barkley down in the 11th round and won a split decision by scores of 118 to 112, 116 to 112, and 113 to 116. The fight was named the 1989 Fight of the Year by The Ring. Duran moved up to super middleweight for a third showdown with Sugar Ray Leonard in December 1989, in a bout that was promoted as Uno Mas, One More. Leonard's WBC super middleweight title was on the line, though his camp insisted the fight take place at a 162-pound catchweight rather than the 168-pound super middleweight limit. Both fighters weighed in below the 160-pound middleweight limit. Duran, however, appeared flat for most of the fight. Leonard won in a wide unanimous decision with scores of 120 to 110, 119 to 109, and 116 to 111. Despite the dominant victory, Leonard suffered cuts on his face during the fight, including a busted lip in the 4th round and cuts over both eyes in the later rounds, requiring more than 60 stitches after the bout. Duran would not fight again until 1991, giving up his WBC middleweight title that he had won from Barkley. Despite being in apparent decline after his third fight with Leonard, Duran continued to fight for lesser titles. He faced Vinny Pazienza twice, in June 1994 and January 1995, for the IBC Super Middleweight Championship. Pazienza won both contests by unanimous decision, although the first fight was closely contested, with some feeling Duran had won, while others thought Pazienza had edged him out. The second fight was less competitive, as Pazienza dominated and won easily by scores of 116 to 112, 117 to 111, and 118 to 110. In 1996, Duran faced Hector Camacho for the vacant IBC Middleweight Championship. Many fans and commentators felt Duran had performed well enough to win, but the judges awarded Camacho a controversial unanimous decision. This result was so puzzling that Duran's old rival, Leonard, who was commentating at ringside, expressed disbelief and called the decision a gift for Camacho. In 1997, Duran was defeated by Jorge Castro in Argentina, but he avenged the loss in a rematch in Panama, winning by unanimous decision. Duran's final years in the ring were filled with further struggles. In 1998, at 47 years old, he faced the 28-year-old WBA middleweight champion William Joppy. Joppy, a fast and powerful fighter, easily defeated Duran in just 3 rounds, marking Duran's most decisive loss since his bout with Hearns over a decade earlier. After this loss, Duran announced his retirement for the third time in August 1998, though he quickly reversed his decision and was back in the ring in March 1999. In June 2000, on his 49th birthday, Duran won the NBA Super Middleweight Championship by avenging a previous loss to Pat Lawler. However, he lost the title a year later in a rematch to Hector Camacho, which would mark Duran's final fight, officially ending his legendary career. That's all we had for you guys today. Please remember to subscribe for more videos. Thanks for watching.